up everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am so excited you are here and I am so excited for today's video. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know that I typically get my video ideas from suggestions from you all. I recently made a poll asking what you wanted to see next and I got an overwhelming amount of you all wanting a video series talking about each trimester of pregnancy. So of course, that's exactly what I'm gonna do for you. I'm gonna do a series covering every single trimester. First, second, third, and I'm also going to do another video specifically talking about the postpartum period as well. If you guys are new here, I am Dr. Allie. I am an OBGYN and I would love it if you guys would subscribe to my YouTube channel. I mainly talk about all things women's health, pregnancy, periods, we talk about low sex drive, so I'd love for you to be part of our growing family. Today's video is going to be all about the first trimester. I'll start us off talking about fertilization, when the placenta forms, what baby's doing, and then of course we'll talk about symptoms and kind of expectations during the first trimester. All right, so let's jump right into it. All right, to start us off, let's talk about the length of the first trimester. The first trimester is from your last menstrual period all the way until 13 weeks of pregnancy. How does pregnancy begin? Pregnancy begins when an egg and a sperm meet, and that causes fertilization. This process happens in the fallopian tube. Fertilization occurs in the fallopian tube. It travels down the tube, finds its way to the uterus, and that's where it implants. From implantation to about 8 weeks of pregnancy, that is considered an embryo. From 8 weeks on, it is now a fetus. From the time of implantation, so much is happening within those cells, and it's happening fairly quickly. So I'm gonna break it down kind of by weeks so that you guys know how quickly this embryo is growing. All right, so between weeks 1 through 8, so much is happening. You have the brain starting to form, spine, there's cardiac tissue, muscles, parts of the ear are even starting to form. It's crazy. In weeks 9 through 12, even more starts to happen. We have cartilage that form, no bones, but the cartilage, almost like webbed hands and webbed feet, start to form. The liver starts to form, pancreas, the kidney starts to make urine. There's even fingernails that start to form this early on. This time, the placenta is also growing. The placenta is what is going to provide your fetus with all of the oxygen, nutrients, blood, everything that it needs. All right, now before I jump into talking about symptoms during the first trimester, let's first talk about dating and how we date a pregnancy. Now, I recommend when you miss your period, you take a home pregnancy test and it comes back positive, at that time, call your doctor and the office and let them know that you got a positive pregnancy test. At that point, they'll probably ask you a slew of questions, mainly wanting to know how far along you are. So knowing the date of your last menstrual period is going to be very helpful. Depending on how far along you are, every office is going to be different, but they'll let you know when's the best time to come in for your first appointment. Okay, so how do we date a pregnancy? The most accurate way that we can date a pregnancy is by doing a first trimester ultrasound. Now, before doing that first trimester ultrasound, we always ask all women, when was their last menstrual period? If they're sure of their last menstrual period, that's going to be very beneficial. Once we do that first trimester ultrasound, we can compare the last menstrual period date to the measurements taken on the ultrasound. With those two measurements, then we can determine what the EDD is. EDD is the estimated due date. Now, if you take the EDD or the estimated due date that you get from your last menstrual period and compare that EDD to what you get with the first trimester ultrasound, if they're both pretty similar, then we date the pregnancy based off of the last menstrual period. The results of your last menstrual period and the first trimester ultrasound are pretty significantly different, then we will date your pregnancy based off of that first measurement from baby. I hope that made sense. If it didn't, I have a full blog post explaining how we actually date the pregnancy, and I'll leave that linked down below. Okay, now let's talk about symptoms during the first trimester. Symptoms during the first trimester are going to vary across the board like most things in medicine, it's not one size fits all. So if you're not having the symptoms or you're having different symptoms, that's okay. I can just encourage you to always talk to your provider so that together you can come up with a way to manage these symptoms, specifically something that works for you. So I'm sure you guys know one of the most common symptoms that women go through during the first trimester is nausea and vomiting, or maybe just nausea without the vomiting. This is extremely common. 9 out of 10 women experience nausea and vomiting in their first trimester. The other name I'm sure that you've heard for this is morning sickness. Now, this can be kind of misleading because the nausea and vomiting can actually happen at any point during the day. It doesn't have to be in the morning. A couple different things we can do to try and combat this nausea and vomiting, because it's super important that you're still getting a healthy diet and able to tolerate eating and drinking during the first trimester. If you're having pretty severe nausea and vomiting, or you're unable to hold anything down, you need to tell your provider, because like I said, there's a lot of things that we can try to help make you feel better. Another symptom that a lot of women get are tender breasts. They can be tender, sore, kind of achy, and uncomfortable. This is all due to the hormone changes in your body. In pregnancy, the estrogen and progesterone levels naturally rise in pregnancy, and our breast tissue actually has receptors to estrogen and progesterone. That being said, it's going to lead to tenderness and soreness. Typically, the symptom will wear off within a couple weeks. Another big symptom, and now that I think about it, most of these symptoms are going to be related to the increase in hormones during pregnancy. So this next symptom is fatigue and feeling very, very tired. A lot of women experiences. This one we can pretty much blame on progesterone. As progesterone increases, it's gonna make us feel tired, kind of just wanting to take a nap all the time. Things you can do to help not feel so tired: eating a healthy diet and exercising. See, review with your doctor what kind of exercise will be good for you during the pregnancy. Another thing, due to the increase of hormones, this is where we start to experience our cravings and our aversions. Sometimes some odors can make us feel very nauseous. Even the thought of some type of food can also contribute to that nausea. Here comes progesterone one more time. Another thing that women experience in the first trimester is heartburn. Increased levels of progesterone actually relax the sphincter we have in between the esophagus and the stomach. If that relaxes, we're going to get more of that acid from the stomach back into our esophagus, and that's going to cause heartburn. Thanks, progesterone. You may also notice that during the first trimester, you have increased urination. In pregnancy, yes, this early on, our blood volume increases. So by having more blood, it's making our kidneys work more to filter all of that out. So ultimately, that results in more urine. I'm telling you, progesterone affects so much. Because of the increase in progesterone, we can also have constipation. Progesterone actually works at high levels to slow the movement of food through the intestines. That slowing of movement is gonna lead to constipation. So things you can try: eat more fiber, drink lots of water, and again, exercise and being physically active is gonna help with this. Last but not least, mood swings. During the first trimester, you can go through so much, being excited, being very happy, and then some days you just might feel pretty crappy and just might be sad. That's okay. Mood swings this early on, or even throughout pregnancy, is expected and is normal. Make sure you surround yourself with people that are going to be supportive, encouraging, and just have a good support system during this time. Your body, again, is going through so many changes, and our mood is going to be affected. Get to the point where you feel like your mood swings are getting a little bit out of control, please mention it to your doctor. We're here to help. We can talk through it, or maybe we can start talking about something that we can try to help fix these symptoms. Everybody, that brings us to the end of the video. I hope you learned something new. I hope I made it a little bit easier to understand exactly what's happening during the first trimester, symptoms that you may have, or just general expectations during this period. Part 2 of this video, where I'll talk about the second trimester, is going to hopefully come next week, so be on the lookout for that. If you enjoyed this video, I would love it if you guys would give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment down below, letting me know that you enjoyed this video and that you want to see a part 2. You can find me on all forms of social media, Instagram, TikTok, my blog. I will leave everything linked down below. Before I finish this video, I do want to take a minute just to say thank you so much for being on this journey with me, for following along, and for all the love and encouragement that I feel to keep doing this. I recently hit 1 million followers on TikTok, and it has been unreal. I just thank you so much for liking this content, for being excited, and just keeping me excited about continuing to do this. Thank you guys so much, and I hope you know how much this truly does mean for me. I get so excited when I get a chance to connect with you guys, talk to you in my DMs, etc. I appreciate it so much. Okay, enough of that. So I will see you guys in my next video. I hope you have an amazing week. Always be kind, always show love. Thank you so much for being here. Bye.